And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again. It's your favorite time of the week. It is Keepin' It Rio time. And this is either episode 241 or 242. I've gotten a little bit ahead of myself, so I don't know exactly what number we're on. But for today, this is going to be number one. We've got an amazing guest on the show this afternoon. And I joke and say afternoon because it's early where I'm at, but it's afternoon where our guest is coming to us from. So no hesitation whatsoever. I'd love to welcome Anni to the show. Welcome to the podcast, Keepin' It Rio, Anni. Tell us first where you're coming at us from in the world so that we have some kind of understanding of the difference in time.
Yes, thank you for having me, Chuck, and it was nice meeting you. I am logging in from Greece, so here it's my afternoon, yeah.
I love it. This is my first podcast from Greece. I've done worldwide podcasts, but never from Greece. So here we go. Congratulations on being the first from Greece to be on Keepin' It Rio. I know one day when this is the number one podcast in the world, you'll be able to tell your friends, I met that guy one time. So anyways, enough with the little banter from me. I know we've got a little bit of an abbreviated show because you've got a busy life. Why don't we just start off a little bit with the age-old, hey, Anni, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And we'll just go from there and see where the conversation takes us.
Okay, great. I will try to be succinct about my background story because it's long enough and complicated enough. I've been a healer for the past decade, and I've got my own modality. I'm certified in more than 10 healing modalities, and I have 10,000 healing sessions of experience under my belt. I am also a mental health specialist, and I've been a teacher in elementary school for 18 years. So this is pretty much who I am in terms of certifications, identities, roles.
You're someone that likes to help others, and that's awesome. The world needs more people like that. So let's dig in a little bit. What does a typical day look like? I know you love to be around people, to help others. I did a little bit of research, but I love when I hear, from the person, what led you into this path of life and to helping others, and at what point in your I would assume in your youth did you realize that this was something you were gifted with and that you wanted to pursue?
Actually, it was something that was in my nature from a very early age. I always remember my friends coming to me for discussing deep topics, for advice, for sharing their secrets, because they felt seen and not judged, so they felt safe. So I was doing that, not professionally, from a very young age. And then I started my own healing journey about 15 years ago, when I took it very seriously, because I attempted a few times in the past, but I didn't find the right door for me, the right modality to unlock myself. So 15 years ago, I started healing, my own healing journey, with my healer back then. And she was the one that insisted I should be a healer. I should get trained to become a healer. And I went to my first training out of curiosity. I had no idea. I never intended to be a healer. But then things started happening automatically. Clients started appearing, seeking for professional advice, paying out for my services. And here I am, a decade later, having tens of thousands of hours of experience. But I really love not only helping people, but also witnessing people in their power, because we are educated and brought up to become powerless, to become victims, to be controlled easily, to be obedient. And I do not believe this is in our nature. So the most important thing I get to do and experience is to witness a human being's innate power awakening and watch them reclaiming that power.
Well, that is an amazing journey right there. I've kind of followed, and I've had some folks on with similar backgrounds to yours, but obviously not exactly the same. So let's talk a little bit about you. You said at an early age you got into your, or not an early age. Well, in early age, you're a young lady. Let's just be honest. 15 years ago, you were a young lady at that point as well. You get into your own healing journey. So you've experienced things in life. And I think, like most people, I think like everybody, honestly, we sometimes have these things that occur and maybe they don't impact us in the moment, but many years later, you think about something and it hits you a different way and you realize, wow, this has been shaping and forming for many, many years. And you get to a certain point where you hit a head and you say, okay, I don't like this. I don't like the way that things are going. I don't like the way that I feel. I don't like the way that anything is going here. And I recognize that this is something that it's in me because it's been, bred throughout the course of my life. So I need to find someone that I can talk to. I don't have any close friends that I want to get that in depth with. Tell me a little bit about your experience, how you went about finding the person that you felt comfortable and confident with, and how that transformation kind of played out naturally for you as well. And I'm sure it's a constant evolution, as it is with all of us.
Yeah, that's true. It's never ending. Of course, if you want to terminate it, you can. But I fell in love with my makeup, with myself, with my humanness. So there's always something new to unfold and explore. This is why I keep going. And also I have to stand in my own integrity. So I cannot serve you and guide you and help you if I'm not in the same journey I'm taking you on. How I found this person. Actually, this is a very funny side story. I had a colleague back then, and she was trying to find her own door to open, to find herself, to reclaim her wholeness. So one day she came to me saying, "Hey, I tried something which is not therapy. It's called healing. I don't know what it's really about. I don't have much information, but I liked it." And that moment, it clicked for me. I just asked her for a phone number. I didn't care about the cost. I didn't care about the person, the healer. I was sure this was the answer I was looking for. And this is how it started. And after a few sessions, this healer was telling me, and she was very, very persistent about that you should go to a training. You should become a healer. You would be an exceptional healer. This is what you're here for. Of course, back then, I couldn't understand what she was meaning. I couldn't see myself as a healer. And I chose to just give it a go. And the rest things happened all of a sudden, naturally, without any effort. But for me, the most important thing is not my certifications, is not the modality I have crafted, is the inner work I'm doing on myself, and the courage to be in the position of the receiver, not just be the healer, the one who gets it, the one who knows it all, but also be the receiver, also be the one who wants to explore the blind spots, the unknown, the darkness, to learn more about herself.
I think that's amazing. And, it's so incredible that you bring up this point that a lot of people are very oblivious to, or they don't pay much attention. And that is, you practice what you preach. You're going through yourself, your own journey in life is what you're using to help others. And I think that's awesome, because a lot of times people will say that they've got something, or I'm here to help you, I want to do something. Well, what have you done for yourself? Well, nothing. It's like the personal trainer that's out of shape, or something like that, the financial advisor that's broke. You are actually experiencing these things yourself, and you're understanding what other people are feeling, because we're all people, and deep down at our core, I think we all have the same basic feelings. They can become changed and altered over the course of time with experiences that we go through. But I think deep down, we all want to be understood. We all want to be heard. We all want to be loved. And when you get to a point, you understand, okay, I can do this. You meet someone, you start going through your process. And let's talk just a little bit about that. I know we've got kind of an abbreviated episode here, but tell me a little bit about your process when you start to see things from a different perspective. You understood going in, this is a necessary thing. You had that moment where you said, okay, I need to change. I want things to be different. I want to be happier. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be complete. You start the process, you go through. Tell me about your breakthrough moment when you realized, oh my gosh, like this is actually helping me, and I'm seeing things in a different light than I was beforehand. Sorry for the long question.
It's okay. This is another funny side story. Actually, I'm not a normal person, quote unquote. Normal.
Me neither. Okay.
So I started my own journey because I felt like I have only tapped into 50% of myself, and there's another half somewhere. And I cannot reach out to it. I cannot embody it. I cannot bring it forward. This is why I started. I had a pretty good life, no health issues, no severe emotional trauma, nothing. It was out of curiosity again. I felt something is out of my reach. I feel it, but I cannot see it. I cannot touch it. I cannot grasp it. And this is what made me to take this step forward. And I felt this door opening when I heard my colleague describing very briefly, actually, that she met a healer and she had a healing session, and it was good for her. It was not a profound experience. I mean, she didn't continue, but it was like she just went scouting for me, brought me back the information, and then she dropped. And it was the moment I felt like, oh, this is the key to the door. It's not the usual story. I didn't have enough clues. I didn't have logical proof, but I had the feeling, the intuition, what I call it. And this is my inner compass. This is what helps me make choices and decide between things and follow what's best for me. And it's never lying,
I think that's cool. And I love when you start to recognize changes in yourself, and you start to realize things are getting to be better, and there's a completely different side of life that you haven't even experienced yet. You're going to get to it. And then you have that moment of clarity again, where it's like, you're, like you said, you've got someone that's pushing you in, saying, Annie, you would be awesome at this because you're very even keeled. You've got a great tone about you. You've got a wonderful understanding, and you're just a good person. We've come to learn this from you. I have in just 14 minutes and 37 seconds. So someone that spends time around you says, hey, I think this would be something that you'd be great with. You decide, absolutely going to go through this. I'm going to start helping others in their journeys as well. And something that I always love to ask people, I've had so many different folks on that do things for various reasons, but all these different things have the same core, which is to help others and to be of service, and to have that moment with somebody else where you can say, you know what, I remember my breakthrough moment, and I had this breakthrough moment with this person. They told me all about it, and it fulfilled everything that I ever thought I would do with my choice of career, with my choice of how I was going to help people in life. Tell me a little bit about yours, because I know you've probably had many people that have come back later and said, you know what, you changed my life. You made things better. You are the reason why I'm in a better place today than I was. So tell me a little bit about how that very first one, I'm sure you remember the first, we all do, when you realized, wow, I am making a huge difference in this world. I'm helping people's lives to be better, and people are recognizing that in me. What was that like for you?
I have many memories like that. And one special for me is when one client of mine, a woman, that came to me after several miscarriages and IVFs, and she couldn't stay pregnant. She announced me that she was pregnant, and she was so scared that history will repeat itself. And I had such a strong feeling that that's not the case anymore. We're getting there. You will hold your baby. And I cannot remember what I told her, because I was like trancing at the moment. I was feeling all kinds of things. It was so intense. I was feeling the shift. But many times what is changing is just a feeling, and I cannot put it into words properly. I need time to let it settle, and then I can describe it. I can articulate it. So I don't remember what I told her, but I saw her face softening because she was very anxious and scared. And I saw her tears coming up. And she was like, if it wasn't for you, my life would have been destroyed. I'm so grateful that you're here with me. And the only reason I believe I can get through this is because we are together in this. I'm not alone anymore. And of course, she had her baby with a natural childbirth. And I was beyond happy.
That's amazing. And that's life-changing thing. So you get to experience this as really a part of your everyday life, because you're helping folks, like you said, thousands of hours, thousands of conversations. You're helping people to, have these life-changing moments and have these realizations. And what a great story that is. And I'm sure that once you start having things like that happen in your life, it completely changes who you are. And now you're completely consumed, and you want to help as many people as you can, because not only do you love that feeling for them, but you love the feeling for yourself as well. We do go through life looking for, fulfillment. We look for ways to help others and to get recognized. Obviously, you do that. And now you're starting to really build this into a big career, and this is your life and how you're going to help people. But let's talk a little bit about how exactly you're helping people. You go from a couple people that talk to you because you're your friend. You go through the process, you get yourself in there, you start helping others. But is it still kind of just a small deal? At what point do you realize this is something that I want to do forever? Is this something you want to do forever? And how do you continue to grow and develop so you can help more people worldwide?
Okay, I understood that I would love to do that forever. The moment the first person asked me for my professional advice, I felt like, okay, now everything is making sense. I understand why were people always drawn to me, why they were seeking my advice, my guidance, my point of view, my opinion. And I am always being trained in different modalities. I kept learning new modalities and new things, not only because I love learning new things, I believe in eternal evolution, but I also felt like sometimes with some people I was working with, we were hitting a glass ceiling. And I had to find a workaround to go through that ceiling. So this is where the next certification comes in, usually. But after many years, I brought together tools I have learned from all those certifications and crafted my own modality. I understood that there were still some gaps, and I filled those with my own experience. So I crafted my own thing, my own tool, which is flexible and structured at the same time. I love to picture it as a Jenga tower, you know, the thing with the blocks.
Yep.
It is structured, but you can remove the blocks and place them elsewhere. So this is how I help people. It has 3 solid steps. The first one is the radical acceptance phase, so that you can understand where you're standing, what is happening in your life, what do you want to keep, and what would you like to toss or change or shift. And then we go into the inner gardening phase, where we understand why everything is happening the way it does and how you can shift your reality. And then we step into the third phase, which is sealing the work and making it sustainable. So we train you to act accordingly so that you don't have relapses.
I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think that, relapse is a interesting term. When I think of relapse, I think of people that are onto toxic things and have these problems. And I never really thought of mental health as a contributing factor, as far as, this could be something that you could fall back into later and it can become an addictive scenario for you. But that leads me into the next question. So as folks continue their evolution and their journey towards, whatever peaceful and happiness looks like for those folks, there is always going to be that I don't know what the word is, that threat to where things could trigger you. You could fall back into a different way of life after all the work you've put in. I've seen this happen a lot of times to people, usually with like chemical addictions and things like that. But mental health is something that's always with us. Tell me a little bit about this. Have you had any experiences where you've helped folks along the way? And maybe this isn't the happiest question. I try to keep everything nice and light and friendly, but reality of the matter is it doesn't work for everybody. Have you had situations where someone that you've been working with has maybe reached out to you in a panic or has said, oh my gosh, like this is insurmountable, there's nothing I can do? Obviously the happiness that comes with someone saying that their life has been completely changed for the good, but we still work with the negative side as well. Have you had any experiences where you've had to help folks with stuff like that? And, without getting too in depth, obviously, how does that feel for you? And how do you work your way through stuff like that with folks?
Okay, first of all, this is not for everyone, as everything else. So 50% of the job is mine and 50% of the job is the receivers. We have to collaborate and cooperate. Otherwise, I can't save you. I'm not your messiah. You're fully responsible for the life you're living, and I can help you find better solutions. I can help you elevate your quality of life. I can help you shift your mindset, be happier, be calmer, but I cannot save you. You have to do the work alongside with me. So there are people that come to me because they see friends, family members that work with me and they are very happy and very evolving. And when they call me, I say, I cannot work with you. Because if I speak with someone for about 5 to 10 minutes, I can understand if they are conductive and receptive enough, and if they are serious about changing their lives, or if they are trying to transfer the responsibility about the life they're living to someone else. And I'm not that vessel. I will not take up responsibility for your life. I can only take up responsibility for my life. And I'm here to empower you, not to help you craft another excuse. That's not my job. I don't want to get paid for that. So I have those kinds of experiences when I say no to people, and some of them get very angry at me because I say no to them, and they feel like I don't give them a chance. And this is where you can understand that, hey, this decision I made was a good one, because they are already transferring their responsibility to me. I am depriving them from the chance to change their lives.
Victims. And I think that's the easiest thing to fall back on in life is, woe is me. This isn't fair. I deserve that. And why won't you help me? Everything you could think of. But I agree with you on this 100%. You recognize these things immediately through previous experiences, through taking your lumps. I'm sure you've probably worked with folks along the way that you find out midway through are not your ideal clients, are not the type of people that you want to work with, that are going to bring you down and make you, more weary and not enjoy what you're doing as much. So it's like they always say, the truth hurts. And I think that that's a very key thing. And it's weird how you can kind of translate things from one way of life to another. But I have a roofing company, you hire a salesperson to come work for your roofing company, and their main responsibility is to go out and find roofing jobs for us, right? That seems pretty self-explanatory, but you see a lot of people along the way that don't make it, that don't have that enthusiasm, that don't have the fire, and they slowly walk away or they fade away. And when you see them down the road, the first thing they say is, you didn't help me. You didn't give me enough an opportunity. That wasn't right. That sucked, yada, yada. Meanwhile, you've got other people that are doing tremendous. So it's all about your personal mindset. I think being able to tell people no is the greatest superpower that we've been given in life. And it took a long time for me to understand that. So you get the folks that you understand are genuine, that really need your help, that genuinely desire to be different, to have a better life, and you choose to work with them. Tell me a little bit about this as you go through this with the folks. Is this a program where you say, hey, look, it's going to be 12 1-hour sessions, or each individual person is different? You custom fit their needs to their situation, and you can work with folks for an undetermined amount of time? Or how does that work for you on the professional end?
It's different for every person. Usually they come with something to resolve. For those people, I can decide the amount of sessions, more or less. And if they wish to go deeper after that, because it's a never-ending process, if you want to know yourself better, so this is my passion. Here I am for you. I will always serve you. But if we want to resolve something, I can say that most issues get resolved in 5 to 10 sessions maximum. Unless if we're talking about chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, cancer, and severe health issues, like the lady I told you with the miscarriages, I had to stay with her until the end of her pregnancy. So those are different cases. And I have other people that are just curious about themselves. So this is an open ending. We cannot determine the amount of sessions. And there are also group programs, because we are building a community. I have co-founded the brand Seeds of Bliss with my husband, and we are building our worldwide community. So we have also group programs, and we are going to start our membership this January 1st of 2026, which is called Your Village. And it's all about bringing together people that love helping each other and supporting each other.
I love that. And that was going to be my next thing. Usually when I start to wind down the episodes, the favorite thing I have to ask is, someone's watching our show today, I always joke and say this is going to be the #1 podcast in the world somewhere down the road. You got to speak it into existence. So I'm at least trying to do that. And there's going to be millions of sets of eyes that watch this interview that you and I just have been doing, and they're enjoying it. And they're saying, you know what? There's some unresolved things in my life that I'd like to maybe clean up a little bit, maybe some aspects that I need a little bit of help with understanding. I want to put myself into a happier position in life. And I like what this young lady's saying. So I want to find a way that I can maybe follow her. I want to find a way that maybe I can become a part of her community. Maybe I can seek a little bit of help as well. What are the best ways for people to find yourself, to seek out your assistance and guidance? And, what are some of the things that, don't waste my time type moments? Like someone calls and says, I'm irritated because I'm stuck in traffic all the time and I need you to help me not be annoyed by traffic. That's probably a waste of your time. So what would be some of the things that maybe, would exclude someone from reaching out to you? But if someone were looking for your help, how could they find that?
Okay. They can find me through our website, seedsofbliss.life, and through social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under the handle of Seeds of Bliss. Also YouTube under the handle of Seeds of Bliss. And nothing is a restriction. Anyone can reach out and present their issue to resolve, because the example you presented, like I am annoyed when I'm stuck in traffic, hides other issues underneath. And if this person is willing to explore them, we will bring forward some gold for them.
I love it. And you know what? This has been so much fun. We had to reschedule, and I apologized before we started recording. I can't say enough how much I appreciate you taking the time from all the way in Greece to talk to a guy in Texas that you never met before, to be on a random podcast and kind of share your life and how you're helping others. That means the world to me, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Before we bid adieu, there is one thing I have to do, which is to thank my sponsors. Obviously, I have the greatest sponsor in the world, which is roofer.com. I told you I have a roofing company, and Roofer is pretty self-explanatory. It's a software for roofers to help us through the entire process, from the first contact with your homeowner all the way to the final payment and beyond. Thank you to Roofer. I'm actually working on my agreement for a 4th consecutive year with them as my title sponsor of Keepin It Rio. For all the people that watch the podcast every week, I thank you guys, because I know that, it's the internet and I don't really have ratings and stuff. And I could do it even if nobody was watching, which technically at the beginning was what I was kind of hoping for, just to get to talk to cool people. But I appreciate that. And it is the holiday season. I wish everybody, happy holidays. Let's end this year with authority and kick off 26. We just spoke with a young lady who's got a big kickoff on the 1st of the year. If you're going to be doing something big this year, let's go do it huge and have a great time together. And Annie, thank you so much for being here. I know you've got to run, but if you would stick around just a couple seconds after I end this broadcast so our recordings can catch up, I would appreciate it. And again, ladies and gentlemen, until next week, you know the deal. Keep on keeping it Rio. We will see you all next week. Thank you.
We're Roofer. We know that managing a roofing business can be chaotic, so we created a single platform with all the tools you need to easily run your roofing business. Stop switching between multiple different softwares and experience streamlined operations from lead to payments in hours instead of days. Visit roofr.com to get started for free today.